Hello, it's me, Robin, with Simple Food, Simple Life. How are you? I hope you're all doing great. I'm going to make for my supper one of my favorite meals. I guess some people would call it a poor man's meal, but I don't like that phrase, so I try to avoid it. So for me, it's just a good, hearty, wholesome, old-fashioned meal. Okay? All right. Now, let me show you what I got. I've got a can of, these were from Aldi, whole potatoes, which I drained and sliced. So I'm going to fry them. And I dried them off with some paper towel. I have a sliced onion, which I'm going to add to the potatoes. I've got a can of pork and beans from Aldi. And to the pork and beans, I will be adding some sliced hot dog. I know, crazy wild, isn't it? All right. So, let me show you. Pretty simple. So I'm going to put the potatoes in the fat. Now, this is actually chicken fat and with a pat of butter in it. That's what this fat is. So I'm going to put a few rings of onions in there. I think I'm going to chop these up a little bit, because why not? This is my last onion. It was down in the bin in the basement, and last one. So I did manage to salvage it, which is good. Now, the reason I'm using the canned potatoes is because I don't have any raw potatoes or fresh potatoes. I haven't purchased any in a while because I've been trying to get through my cans of potatoes. That was just salt I put on there. Now, I have home canned potatoes, and I have these cans of potatoes that I purchased at the grocery store. So, and of course they're done. So basically, they're already cooked. So basically, what I'm doing is I'm just simply going to brown them. And brown them with the onion. I'm going to turn my heat up a little bit. Now, I'm not going to add anything to this but salt and pepper. Okay? This is just something I pretty much grew up with. The potatoes were whole, and I sliced them. Now then, over here in this pot, I've got a little melted butter, and I'm going to throw in my sliced hot dogs. And I think I've told you before, I'm not fussy about hot dogs. Let me grab a lid for this. Because of the moisture in the potatoes, there's a little moisture left in there. Of course, they're going to pop. And like I said, this is chicken fat here. So, I'm going to brown these up. And I'm going to get a little bit of a sear or a browning on these hot dogs before I add the pork and beans to the hot dog. Now there's a lot of different ways you can do this. You can add other things to the potatoes. You can add peppers and onions if you want to. You can add bits of bacon if you have that. You can do that. You can add whatever you want. I could have put the sliced hot dog in with the potatoes. I could do that. Could have done that as well. You can put garlic powder on your potatoes if you want to. Whatever you like. Now I'm gonna brown these up a little bit. They're starting to get a little bit of a brown color, which is what I want. I could have sliced the hot dogs in half and browned them like that in another skillet if I wanted to. Could have done that. Now, this is actually all I'm going to have, except I'm going to have some butter and bread with this. I could have, if I wanted to, I could have cornbread if I wanted to make cornbread, if I had it. I could have biscuits. I could have corn. And I'll tell you what really tastes good with this meal is some cottage cheese. I love cottage cheese and pork and beans. I don't have any cottage cheese. So I'm pouring on my can of pork and beans. I think at Aldi, that's what these are. At Aldi, the pork and beans are now 85 cents a can. They used to be 60 cents, but not anymore. So I'm going to put a little salt on it. Not that much because the hot dogs are salty. I'm not fussy about the hot dogs, any old hot dogs, but you could use some sausages if you want to. These are just beans and franks, beanie weenies, whatever you want to call them. They're looking pretty good. You can put hot sauce on your potatoes if you want to. That would be okay. Now, have you ever eaten a beanie weenie fried potato meal, or is this something new to you? Put in the comments and let me know. And if so, if you grew up with this, how were the potatoes prepared? Have you ever tried to can or fry canned potatoes? Did you know that you can fry canned potatoes? You can do a lot with them. Did you know that? So true. Let me see. Those are tasty. One thing I could have with this is sauerkraut. Sauerkraut, fried potatoes, hot dogs, franks, sausages, always, always, always a good combination. You kind of can't go wrong with that. And this meal really doesn't take that long. I'm going to turn the heat down here. Now, if you have, one thing my mom always made was when she boiled potatoes with the skins on, she would always boil extra, and then that way she could save them to fry. Like she would fry them for breakfast, primarily. They would be used for breakfast. Which were very, very tasty, by the way. So you see how these are coming on? I can turn the heat off underneath my beanie weenies. Now, something I'm going to do, which is going to be delicious. Hang on. I have some Bullseye Everyday Barbecue Sauce from Dollar Tree. So I'm going to put a little bit of that in with my beans. But you don't have to. The purest way is just the beanie weenies. That is it. That is the purest way to do it. Now then, my beans are runny. Got the hot dog pieces in there. I'm going to put them on my plate. Do I care if my beans run into my potatoes? No, I do not. I am fine with it. Now when you're making your potatoes, if you want them to be crispier, or you make them however you want them. I'm making them like this. So, you do what you like. These are going to be delicious. Make sure I get some of that good onion in there. And have to do my beanie weenies. Get this out of the way. I can smell that barbecue sauce gave them just a little bit of a smoky touch, which is kind of nice. Love the pork and beans. Do you like pork and beans? If not, why not? And if so, I'm glad for you. And now, this is going to be my supper, you know. This is my supper. So I'm going to have a piece of bread and butter. When I was growing up, every evening meal, we had bread and butter. Bread was always on the table. Some kind of bread, biscuits, cornbread. Our supper meal was never without bread. We probably ate bread 3 times a day between breakfast, lunch, having a sandwich, and supper time. There was always a bread plate on the table with bread and butter. I grew up on margarine, but that's what we had. So, and because we didn't have dessert every night, dessert was something we had on Sundays. There was some canned fruit or some apple butter, something like that was on our table. That was like dessert, bread and butter with some apple butter on it. So, there it is. There's my supper. Fried potatoes and onions, beanie weenies, bread and butter. What do you think? Michael, the cat, is meowing. I think he either likes it or he wants to go out. We don't know. They're so demanding. All right. That's it for me today. I love you guys. You know I do. I hope that you will give this a try. And honestly, this didn't cost very much. The potatoes were 60-some cents for the can. The onion I had, these were the 99-cent hot dogs, of which I cut up 2. And the can of pork and beans was 85 cents. Now it's 85 cents. I don't think I paid 85 cents for this one, but you can see it's a pretty inexpensive meal, very wholesome, very delicious, and there's enough left to have a whole other meal. So, alrighty, I love you, and as always, you know that little is much when God is in it. Alright, you guys take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.